We all want to improve our iron play, but here's an idea that's going to give you a little bit more clarification as to what you're doing. One of the biggest things we do see with a lot of golfers that struggle at impact is if you think about where the grip end of the club is located at dress compared to where it is at impact, the grip end of the club always falls back behind your belt buckle. We add lots of loft, our weight stays on the right side, and the club bottoms out before the golf ball on the ground. One thing we always see from there is the club face could be relatively open, the weight's on the right side, and then we're having to do a lot of things to try and square up that club face. A simple and effective drill that you can use is right-handed swords only. Grip end of the club's going all the way up your right forearm. If we swing the club back, and then from there the grip end of the club falls back and hits my right forearm, we know we're going to add lots of loft. We're going to hit the ground before impact with the club head. Seen this drill with pitching before, we want to do the opposite with iron play. If we swing back and the grip end of the club hits my right forearm, we know from there the club head's going to get to the golf ball before the grip end of the club. We add lots of loft, and then from there our 7 iron turns into a 9 iron. That's why you like distance, backspin increases. The distance the golf ball travels will also be deflated and ego slightly in the process. If you're this golfer, we don't want to swing the club back, that grip end of the club falls back towards the right forearm. What we want to do from there is think about swing to the top, always keeping a slight gap between the grip end of the club and your right forearm. As we come into impact, end of the club always working ahead the right forearm, grip end of the club working towards left hip. We create a slight gap between the grip end of the club and right forearm. If I create my impact position, keep the bend in the right arm for longer, I create more extension in this right wrist, where my right wrist feels like it points down towards the ground. My right palm feels like it points more down towards the ground. And from there, I'm feeling like the leading edge always stays down through impact. Where we start to release the club early, I swing the club back. Back we get really narrow, and on the way down we get really wide. Grip end of the club falls back, hits right forearm. Great if you want to use the bounce when you're pitching and create maximum loft and maximum spin. Not so good with an iron play. What we want to feel like we're doing, create that gap at dress. As we come into the downswing, we want the grip end of the club to feel like it always stays ahead of the right forearm. So 2 things that's going to help me achieve that. I'm going to shift my pressure to my left side by the time I finish a backswing, so my weight's going to move into my left side. As I come into impact, grip end of the club always works ahead of the right forearm. Create and rehearse your impact position. Got a little bit more bend in my right arm. Right palm faces the ground, so I've got a little bit more trail wrist extension, and then my hands are always leading the club head. So there's a simple and effective drill you can use, and also you can merge that into pitching and also iron play. If you struggle with too much shaft lean when you're pitching, grip end of the club is always working ahead of your right forearm. So you can blend this in to 2 different components. So too much shaft lean where your wedges, ball flight comes off a little bit lower because the ball speed increases because we reduce the loft. What you want to do when you're pitching, grip end of the club to fall back towards right forearm. That's going to help us release the club head. That's going to help us utilise a little bit more of the bounce, but also get the contact point a little bit lower in the face so the ball can spin up the face a little bit more. If you struggle with your iron play, where you come into impact, the grip end of the club falls back towards your right forearm, do the opposite. You want to get to the top of the backswing to create this lean in the shaft everyone wants to achieve where we're heading down. So blend those 2 drills into one. Swing to the top, we don't want the grip end of the club to fall back towards right forearm. We want to feel like as we come into impact, our weight's moving into our left side by the time we finish the backswing. So I feel like my left hip stays lower in transition. That's going to move my weight over my left side up. Left knee's going to stay over left foot. And then as we come into impact, grip end of the club always creates a slight gap away from the forearm. So grip end of the club's always working towards left hip. Grip end of the club slightly ahead of the right forearm. I've got a little bit more bend in my right arm, and my right palm faces the ground a little bit longer into the downswing. Hands are ahead, weight's left, and that is going to enable me to create ball turf contact. Inflate that ego again. We've got a slight de-loft in the club coming into impact. The spin rate is a little bit lower, and also we're creating ball turf contact and we're controlling the dynamic loft through impact, and also allowing the club to bottom out after the golf ball. End that 2-step drill with pitching and also iron play. If you've got any thoughts or any questions regarding the video, please feel free to comment below with anything you'd like to see on my channel with your tweaks. Also in-person lesson packages at Glenbervie Golf Club in Scotland. Below with any thoughts on the video and if you want more information regarding those packages.